Hello and welcome to Bass Perspectives. I'm Mo Jones. In these lessons we're going to go over some fundamentals of bass playing. It's going to teach you how to groove and teach you how to pop and slap. So let's get started. Before we do, let's tune up. We're going to start with the top string here, which is a G. Second string D. Third string A. And now E. Okay, this first section we're going to go over things of the right hand and the left hand. Now we're going to start with the right hand. With the right hand you have your index finger and your middle finger. Typically on bass you're going to want to alternate these fingers back and forth. So let's work on an exercise to get you going on that, okay? We're going to start up top here on your G string, okay? And when you bring your fingers over, you're going to put your forearm at a comfortable spot on your bass, and as it comes over, you just want it to be slightly angled. Okay? You don't want it to be too much like this, and you don't want it to be straight up and down, because that'll just cause you to be a sloppy player. So let's just get a slight angle going in, just like that, okay? Now when you follow through on the string, okay, start on the G string. See how this finger was resting against this other string? Just like that? Okay, that's what you want. Now when you get down to your low E here, there's nothing to really rest on, but that's okay. You'll learn to get a feel to get back to the string. Okay. Now if your bass has a thumb rest, put your thumb on the thumb rest. If not, you can rest it on your pickup here if you'd like. All right, so let's just start. We're just going to go back and forth and switching strings, okay? Here we go. Let's go to the D string now. Now the A string. Now the E string. Remember, you just can get back. Don't go too far. Okay. Just work that exercise until you get your right hand feeling pretty good with the strings. Okay. Let's move on to something with your left hand. This exercise I'm going to show you is going to take a little bit of time to get used to, but it's going to help your right hand and your left hand work together. All right? Now, on your left hand, you got your index, middle, ring finger, and pinky. Of course, we're going to call it 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? And you're going to set your fingers down on the neck of your bass, starting here on your 8th fret. Okay? So count up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right? So put your first finger there. And what you want when you're putting your fingers on the bass is you want them to curve just slightly over, okay? You don't want them to be flat and you don't want them to be out here, okay? You just want a nice natural curve coming over. Because if you play too much on the flat side here of your finger, it's going to sound not as good. If you play too close to your fingernail, it's just not going to sound as good either. So we want it to land right in this area here, right on the tip of it, okay? So what we're going to do when we play this scale, already you've got your right hand down going back and forth, so you're still going to go back and forth in this exercise. And you're going to go index, and then you're going to set your next finger down, middle, index, middle. Okay? And then you'll just do that for the next string. Index, middle, index, middle. Okay, now I want to point out some things on my left hand. On my left hand, you'll notice that all my fingers are still down even after I play a note. Watch, again. Okay, we're there. Then I put my middle down, and my middle finger's, or I'm sorry, my index finger's still down. Okay, notice that I played this note. These two fingers are still down. Now all three are down. This is going to help you get a good, consistent tone and be even across the board. And that's really good as a bass player, especially if you're going to be walking bass lines. Really, if you're playing anything, you want an even tone no matter what. Okay, so again, let's run over the exercise. You're going to go first finger. Now I'm going to talk about the left hand. The first time I was saying index, middle, referring to right. Now let's talk about the left. So you're going to go first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, okay? And then you're just going to keep walking this up the neck. Okay. Now, I want to show you some other exercises to work on. And it's going to be right in the same spot. Instead of going first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, what we're going to do is go first, second, and then fourth. So it'll look like this. Okay, you'll go first finger, second finger, then pinky. Notice that this finger still comes down, okay? And then you're just going to walk that up just like you did the other one. Okay, once you get that down, I want to switch it up a little bit. Instead of going first finger, second finger, pinky, we're going to go first finger, third finger, pinky. Okay? Let's try it. Same spot. So you're going to go first finger, third finger, pinky. First finger, third finger, pinky. Okay? And then you just walk it right up the neck. And always walk these exercises back as well. Okay, so you got your first one. Again, then you have the second one we went over, which is 1, 2, 4, 2, 4. Then you have the third one we went over, which is 1, 3, 4. Okay, now I want to show you one that's going to be a real stretcher. Okay, and this is good when you're really trying to warm up before a gig. So you're going to go first finger, third finger, and then you're going to stretch your pinky right there. Okay, so first finger, third finger, pinky. You notice that there's a fret in between these two. This is a great stretcher. Okay, now you're going to take all of these exercises really slow, and it's going to help, again, develop your left hand and your right hand. It's going to teach you to play even across the board. It's going to teach you your right hand to alternate back and forth. Okay. Now that you have that stretcher down, I want to challenge you to move those exercises going down this way on your neck. Okay, you'll notice down here that your frets are bigger, which means it's going to stretch you out more. You want this, okay? Take the exercises as slow. Doesn't really matter how fast you go at this point, but take them nice and slow and create the good tone by keeping all your fingers down. Alternate your right fingers, okay? And it'll all come together. Okay, now I want to talk about the major scale. The major scale is the most important scale that you're going to learn. Everything that you do musically is going to come from this scale, theoretically. Okay. Now the major scale does have a formula. Whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Let's look at it on the bass. Starting on the G string, okay, you have G, and then you're going to go a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, then a half step. Okay, now let's learn the scale without me saying the whole steps and half steps. It's going to be open, okay. Now you go to the other open strings and it's the exact same pattern. A, E. Now that we've learned the major scale that way, let's take another look at it. I want to show you the major scale using your open E and your open A. Now this is just an open string position. So you have your E, 2nd fret, 4th fret, I'm stretching, okay? Open A, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 1st fret, and 2nd fret. So it's going to be like this. Okay. Open A, it's going to be the same way. Okay, we've learned the major scale linearly, open position. Now let's do it in closed position. Okay, we're going to start on the 5th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is in A. Okay, so let's try it. We're going to go middle finger, pinky, 1st finger, middle finger, pinky, 1st finger, ring finger, pinky. Let's take it down. Pinky, ring, middle, pinky, middle, 1st, pinky, and then your middle finger. So that should sound like this. Okay. Now here's the beautiful thing about this. You can take that pattern, that scale, and you can play it anywhere in your bass, and it's a major scale. Play it down here. Play it right here. Keep practicing all of these scales real hard and really try to get the major scale concept into you of the whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Okay, now I'd like to talk about minor scales. Minor scales are relative to major scales, which means they share the same key signature. We're going to talk about the natural minor scale because there's different forms. The formula to the natural minor scale is whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. Okay, let's compare the major scales that we were going over with the minor scales. Okay, if you remember, we were doing the major scales like this, right? Okay, so the minor scale is going to go like this. Okay, then you're going to go. Okay, so okay, you'll notice in the minor scale that there is a flat third compared to the major scale. Look it, in the major scale we go, there's the third, the minor scale is, and that's the biggest difference between the two. There are some other differences as you get up in here, but the biggest difference is the flat third. It gives it that different sound. There's major, and there's minor. Now I'm just going to show you the minor scale in closed position right now. Okay, so we're going to start on the same note here that we did on the major scale using your index finger. And all you're going to do is go index, ring, pinky, index, ring, pinky, index, ring. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, and again it's the same thing. You can play this anywhere in the bass. And it's going to be natural minor everywhere, okay? Now if you want to learn more about the major and the minor concepts, you can go to my YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/MoJonesBass. And there'll be more lessons on there that'll give you a more in-depth understanding of the major and the minor and how they work together. Okay, now we're going to talk about grooving. What is grooving? What do you think grooving is? Okay, let me share a few definitions with you. It's the pulse of the song. Okay, it's the driving beat of the song. You're in the pocket. A lot of people talk about pocket and grooving being together, and that is true. You have to have a pocket and a groove to have that driving, that sense of direction, that pulse that people talk about in the songs. So, how do they do that? Well, I'm going to show you some mechanics that's going to help you create that groove and create that pocket with the drummer. Okay. First thing we're going to talk about is chokes. We're just going to put our finger on the 5th fret here. And when you play the note, all the choke is you just lift up and it stops the note. Okay? So try that, okay? Just put it there, lift up. And now notice I'm not going like off the neck like this. Okay? I'm actually keeping my finger on the string to do what they call choking the note. All right. So what I would do is take a scale, okay, like a major scale, and work on the chokes. Okay? Take a drive, okay? You hear the difference in some of the way bass players drive. Like some bass players will drive like this. Well, try choking it, like this. Now we're going to talk about dead notes, okay? Dead notes are really important to just get that flow going in the song and flow going into the groove, okay? So what you're going to do is, let's just take it very easy here. Play the note, and then you're going to lift up like a choke, all right? And then you're going to go, all right? And some of the notes will actually give you kind of a harmonic sound, some of them more of a percussive sound. You'll have to work that out if you want that kind of sound in the groove that you're doing or not, okay? Okay, but for now, okay? So it's like you're keeping your fingers on the string and plucking the string, but you're not creating an actual note. That's what they call a dead note, okay? So what I would suggest, take the note, you can go 1 right after, you choke it. Now let's do 2. Now you could take the scale again, the major scale. So you get that down. And just work that until you get really comfortable with dead notes and really comfortable with chokes. Now I'm going to talk to you about hammer-ons. Hammer-ons are really cool to help keep the groove moving forward. All right? So what you're going to do is you're just going to take a note. In this case, we're going to go 5th fret. And instead of plucking the note above it, what we're going to do is just hammer it down. See that? Okay. Now, I'm going to give you an exercise. Basically, all you're going to do is just do this, work it up the neck. Build up the speed. Once you get that down, it'll sound pretty cool. All right, now I want to talk about one more thing before we get into actual grooving, and that's upbeats. Upbeats, okay, is on the up part of the beat instead of the down. So if you got this going on, 2, 3, 4, it's going to be pop, 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 pop. You're actually going to play notes on the upbeat, okay? So, if we can count, all right, we're going to take a note and just play it on the upbeat. Let's do the 5th fret, the A note, okay? So it's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, A, 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 okay? So let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Upbeats, you just got to be real careful with them, like all these mechanics. It's a trial and error, because as you're working with a drummer, you're working with the guitar player, you're putting these grooves in and these mechanics in, you got to make sure that you're not doing too much. But they are fun once you get them down. Now I'm going to show you some scales that a lot of bass players over the years have used for grooving and pop and slap. They're all based off of the minor pentatonic scales. I like to call them box scales, and I'll show you why. Let's start out with the open E box scale, or E minor pentatonic. It's going to be open, first finger, shift, up 2 frets, then you're going to put your pinky down. I'll explain to you why I want your pinky. Just go with it. You can see what I'm doing. Now you're going to shift. Okay, here's the scale. You can see I'm using my pinky there. I'll explain why. Okay. All right. Then we're doing a shift again. Now, why don't you take a minute and practice the scale until you get it down? Okay, I'm glad you got it down now. Now, I want to show you what I mean by the box. Okay, as you play the scale, you'll notice that right here. Now, look at all these notes you have to play. All right. I know you're supposed to shift, but I'm just going to put my pinky down. You've got 6 notes there, and you got another note right here. But on your 5th and your 7th fret, you have all of these notes to put into a groove, okay? So it creates like a box area, all right? So, let's try it again. Now, I told you I would explain to you why I want you to use your pinky here. We've been learning a 4-finger method, which is stretched out over 4 frets. Bass players also use a 3-finger method, okay? When you're popping and slapping or you're doing grooves, some people like to use their ring finger as they come out, but I have found that when you use your pinky, it just helps your hands square up to the neck, helps you be tighter with your grooves, and it just seems to give you a little bit more strength and tone. But it is your preference as to what you would rather do. If you want to use your ring finger, you can. But if you want to try using your pinky, go for it. I would always suggest this method when you're popping and slapping, again, because it gives you more strength and better tone. Okay, let's move on to some actual grooves using the box scale and also using the mechanics that we were practicing in the section before. Okay, here's a groove. Okay, let's break this down. You're going to go open E, and then you're just going to go choke it, and then you're going to go index, pinky, choke. So open E, choke, choke. Okay, so let's try it again. Here we go. Now you'll notice I was going back to the open E every 4 beats. Okay? In grooving and also with funk, you got to get back to 1. Really, in any style or genre of music, doesn't matter. You always got to get back to 1. All right? And this is very important. So we're using the open E right now to help teach you to get back to 1. So here's riff number 2. All right, this riff, kind of the same as the riff before, except I added a note up top, added some dead notes, and took it back down using the G back down to the E. So let's break it down. I'm going to go open E, then I went to this note here, then I went, then 2 dead notes. All right, let's try this again. So open E, once you get that riff down, speed it up. You know, it'll sound a little bit different. All right, let's look at another riff. All right, in this riff, when you break it down, open E, then you do like that kind of a hammer. It's like open, then hammer, hammer. So you don't play the A. Choke on the D, double dead note. Okay, so all right, let's check out another riff. This riff we're going to use a little bit more up top here in the scale, okay? All right, let's break that riff down. What you're doing, hitting the open E, octaves, going up to another octave, okay? So okay, there's some riffs for you to play around with that just get you used to this technique with some of those mechanics, okay? Now you can, try all kinds of riffs within the box, a little bit outside the box. Have fun with this, okay? And what you'll find as you have fun with it, you'll start coming up with some really, really cool stuff on your own.